Oh, Gwen locked in. So sorry to uh, veer off, but yeah, Gwen locked in as well. I presume Gwen jungle, I'd imagine, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, Jack's all in the top lane. I mean, it is Jack's favored and then responsive. He should be able to get pushed and should be able to control the tempo of the lane in his favor. However,
It was doomed from the start. As we're going to get into Summoner's Rift. Yeah, there you go. We're going to get into Summoner's Rift.
why do I have the loading problem again? I'll just restart it quickly. I can't see, but yeah.
That's okay. I'll paint a picture as we
Yeah,
fly
thank you,
over the
thank you.
vista of Summoner's Rift, and as we fly over the vista, and Hawksbull bought a Dark Seal instead of a jungle item. But he did end up
What?
buying a jungle item. No, he bought a
Oh my
jungle
god!
item.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's not a world situation where we accidentally have a jungler who forgot smite.
Oh my god! I actually forgot that happened. That's so insane. Imagine he probably got a bollocking from his coach. Unbelievably, right?
No, for sure. If you walk in and say, "Hey, by the way, my jungle clear was 3 minutes slow because
Yeah,
forgot to
my bad. It's like he
forgot I
doesn't
was
realize
jungle."
it until he takes the first camp, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah,
then like you see him like put his head in his hands, and you're like, oh no.
I don't think he took the first camp. I think he was on the brink of taking his first camp, and then he pressed
Hmm.
smite, and he's like, "Why?
The
Why doesn't
hell?
the smite?" Yeah.
Well, why is this not working?
As we're gonna go in, it is a sunny vista, clear skies, not a cloud in the sky, as there is no invade shenanigans. But Yusuf is gonna help Hawksbill out, give
I
him a
can
bit of a
see
leash.
the I can see the game now as well. We in, we in.
Yeah, give him a bit of a leash, make things slightly easier.
Hmm. Gwen's clear early isn't that awful, to be honest. She like does decent damage and stuff. It's kind of hard for her to create that pressure early without the ult to create that little slow and close that gap. It can be a little bit difficult, but as I say, she is clearing down towards that bot side. And when you've got Ashe with that like insane amount of utility and Alistair as well as for that like really snappy engage, it can be something that Gwen can follow up on a little bit more easily than necessarily some of the other lanes. So I think that's why she might be looking to try and head towards this bot lane when she can. Nice
Yeah,
trade.
a lot of enabling. As the level 2 all in's gonna come through, Kaiser's passive
Ooh.
block is gonna proc
Ooh.
once. Swan's gonna have to flash out, and My Dad's Black is gonna have to get out of there as well, as both teams hit level 2. Kaiser is now flashless. Moist Swan has to play a bit more careful. And Time Gear and MDib forcing out a flash there. Really, really good lane presence, abusing the rage advantage in the bot lane.
Yeah, Moist Swan having to pull out the flash there. MDib also flashed to try and secure that final kill on Moist Swan. Moist Swan responding with their own flash, able to get out nicely. And, you know, the Thresh play was a little bit dangerous, pushing him under tower, but nice trade overall, I'd say.
As we're sort of stuck in this really weird position where one side wants to scale, the other side wants to scale. So the laning phase is just going to be sitting around and trying not to die, not to give up early advantages. As and Yosef are going to fight in the top lane.
How is Yusuf destroying this top lane? What happened?
I don't know. It's I think Grasp of the Undying into lethal tempo. Yeah, Grasp of the Undying into lethal tempo, so there's a lot more sustain, and he's getting a lot healthier because of his rune.
How much has he done for that already? Do we know?
From what I can tell,
Some damage. 47. Yeah. It's huge. But no, yeah, you're right. It is like Ornn especially, his brittle pox are so like, oh, we see a Hex Flash coming out here potentially, a nice little engage.
Yeah, MDib's gonna go for the knock-up, and Post-No Truck lose their flash. They're gonna get the hook in retaliation. MDib gonna have to pulverize his way out of there. As everything's okay. Once again, a bit of a scare, bit of sweaty palms, but one bot lane is completely flashless, and Time Gear hasn't had to touch that button at all.
Time Gear still got that flash and that ghost ready to go. Moist Swan, sorry, running that cleanse himself. So not with that heal or anything, so if they do get particularly low, then they need to be a lot more careful. So we do see Vi coming towards his mid lane, towards Sleepy Twink, and ooh, the charm gonna land, but she is fine, it's fine.
Yeah, the Vault Breaker goes slightly wide. That could have been a kill in in the mid lane at 5 minutes, but Sleepy Twink just managed to get slightly far enough away from Feb 14. Make sure nothing happens. Meanwhile, the knockup's going to come through from MDib. Is anything going to come from it? The death sentence is still online for Post Lord, but he's not going to commit it. Just sort of back off. Try and get this wave under, get the first reset, and then we'll start seeing a lot more fighting, potentially first blood. But as I said that, MDib's going to jump in, commit the ignite, and most one has to run for their life, ticking, dead. They get first blood, though. It's all worth. The Time Gear is going to potentially get a double kill here, but the Flay procs are not to be underestimated as Time Gear gets one, makes it away with their life. Makes it away. Custom minions need to be paid more, apparently, because they can't effectively kill Time Gear, but really good all in, committing on that lack of flash from their bot lane and realizing they can just run them down.
I'm liking Endip's aggression coming out. He's literally jumping out every opportunity he gets. He's using those bushes to charge up that Hex Flash, jump in, get a quick knock up, and even if, you know, they do trade their life there to secure that kill, but definitely worth it overall, especially since Ash got the 2 kill. Sorry, Thresh almost... Sorry. I beg your pardon. But Thresh, he was able to actually, you know, get that nice stun. So we do see Jonah looking to maybe get an engage here onto Yusuf. Big damage coming out.
Yeah, Yusuf's unstoppable. Going to go for the knockup and maybe walk out of there. Ornn's Horn going to come through. Maybe it's going to be committed. Takes one turret shot as Jenna's looking to come back in. Ornn's going to flash out and potentially a dive coming in because Vi's on her next reset. Is MDib going to go for another knockup? Doesn't get it. Gets flayed away. And Hawksbull looking to get a piece of the action. Was ready to commit the ghost, it looks like, but doesn't get it.
Okay, I'll try and...
let me just check. I think we're slightly behind.
Oh, I'm on 640. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm 643, 644.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 now for me.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I might be a second or so behind, so you guys can criticize if I got the call wrong. But
yeah, I'll just...
Seems like everyone's up to date.
I know exactly what's going to happen beforehand.
Yeah, so if I say, someone tries to flash, you'll just be like, or do they?
I'll be like, oh, I think they're going to flash. Oh, look at that, they flashed. That's crazy. I'm so smart. Oh, we do see Yuna going in for this damage again. And, you know, Yuna definitely, even though that level disadvantage, creating a lot of pressure on this top side now, making sure that this Ornn isn't able to just really farm. And especially Gwen trying to get that follow-up on top as well, looking for that gank onto the Jax. Just trying to shove in this wave here, crash this wave so that Yusuf can get the base that they want. As Yuna now going to look at his damage as he goes in, as Vault Breaker's coming out.
Yeah, the Sun's going to be committed. Hawksbull's going to get knocked up twice. He's going to commit the ghost, trying to get away with their life as Yusuf, unfortunately, the sacrificial lamb, is going to have to die there. But Hawksbull makes it out their life. Not put too far behind, but Jenna's slightly further ahead of Yusuf. And Hawksbull trying to get something done. But this is the power of... This is how weak Gwen is level 1, where these top 2v2s... Yeah. Death Sentence is going to be committed. The Cleanse is going to be committed as well. Just get out of here and knock him out. But he's one auto away from proc, and Time Gear's looking in a lot of danger. But the Stun's going to be committed. Moist One gets the kill. Really, really good buffering of that W to actually get the kill there. As MDib and Personal Truck are the last 2 survivors remaining. As Yusuf in the top lane going to disrupt Yunus back. A bit rude of him, but he's going to try and bait to get the kill. But Feb 14 not having that. Just going to put the Mountain Soul... Mountain Soul? Is that Ornn's name? Forge the Mountain? The Mountain Heat? There's something... Like, Ornn has a title. Like, everyone has a title.
Yeah. He's the Mountain... I don't know. The Mountain God or the Forge something? The Forge God, I think, right?
The Forge Father? I don't know.
Forge Father sounds based. I don't know if that... Ooh, Alistair coming in from the middle lane here onto a gank.
Yeah, Sleepy looks like he's in trouble. Sleepy's going to land the charm, and the buffer is going to come through. But Wibbly, what can you do? You're going to E, but you have to come back. Is he going to flash? He's going to be... But come, Sleepy's going to get it. Calm and cool hands. Really good play there. And the really good... MDib's really stepping up today. Being very, very aggressive, realizing that their deaths don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Make life slightly easier.
Yeah, I was going to say, that originally we mentioned as well, the Gwen kind of struggling to get anything done early, as we did kind of expect. She's looked for some ganks onto bot lane, onto top lane as well, as we do see Juna going in again. Anytime Yusuf wants to crash a wave right now, Juna's not having any of it, getting in that Counter-Strike damage, and Jax does so much damage as the trade comes out here. The Ornn Horn going to be sent out as the damage coming out. maybe the proc that would have been able to do it. I think maybe if they had flash or were able to get that auto off, that would have been a very dangerous situation for Juna. But with that trade going in the favor of Yusuf, Juna's going to have to chill out a little bit and hopefully just Yusuf can crash this wave in like they'd like to.
Yeah, I think that Thornmail coming in clutch as well. 174 bonus damage done from that the Bramblefest Rush rather. Meaning that any trade that Juna goes for is not the greatest as Yusuf. What can you do here? Feb 14 is gonna walk up, gonna charge up the Wallbreaker. Okay, he jukes it and manages to take a fight with Juna. Juna's 1 HP. Might die to a minion also, but no, he doesn't. He makes it up. Juna and Feb 14 and Yusuf are tussling a bit. Feb 14 is favored right now. Yusuf doesn't have anything.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Feb 14, unfortunately, gonna fall. I think I'm about a second behind. But that's okay.
That's okay. And then unpause.
Okay, 34, 35, 36.
Okay, I'm on level with you now. All good.
Cool. As we're back to the action. Or rather, I'm back to the action. Or rather, you guys are behind as well.
Yeah, woo! Oh,
everyone's behind.
Another Alistair. Oh, that's beautiful coming out from MDiv there. Lovely Hex Flash over the wall to get that follow-up stun onto it as well. Wibbly trying to get away here. The ult coming out with the damage coming through as well, but the Alistair ult going to be able to tank up a lot of damage. Wibbly here going for the 2v1 is so much damage immediately. Hawksbill coming out with the ult as well, able to get that follow-up. Another lovely stun coming out from MDiv. The hook going to land onto Hawksbill as Postal trying to get the follow-up onto it, but the charm going to land as well, meaning the more damage coming out. TP coming in from Juna means that they're going to have to flash out. Adds a lovely flash stun, going to knock up 2 of them as MDiv comes up with another knock-up, making sure that both his teammates are able to get out. And so much action happening in that mid lane there. 3 members from both teams, showing up into that mid lane for some of the action.
Yeah, it all started with MDiv, right? He went in and
again.
Effectively got that knock-up, got the stun onto Wibbly, and he tanked, I think, 4 or 5 turret shots. The turret fully ramped up and hit MDiv at least twice.
Alistair Ultimate.
Alistair Ultimate is the best. Yeah, a lot of action going through, and you can see how close this game is. It's literally a game of edges. As Moist one, gonna take a bit of a trade that they don't want, lose a bit of their HP, but get a plate in return. Fund their medicables if that will help, or fund them more damage.
Fund them. Oh god. Oh, I was literally just looking at like Juna's gold quickly as well. As Juna is kind of like, I felt like they were struggling a little bit in that early laning phase, but the moment we've been getting on, Feb has been able to create a lot of action and been able to create a lot of, punish every time Yusuf's walking up, able to get up and get that follow-up kills. As he now ended up 0-3, and the Ornn, it doesn't exactly matter if it's a little bit far behind, because they're always going to get their value, right? As long as you're getting the Ornn Horn down in a team fight, as long as you're getting a knock-up, you're always creating value. But with how far Jax can get ahead, we saw in that team fight, if Jax is able to get a nice little flash stun onto 2 of them, if he had a tiny little bit more follow-up, or MDiv wasn't able to get another knock-up onto them, it would have been a lot more dangerous situation, as Juna has so much damage already coming out, and that's only going to increase even more.
Yeah, it gets very, very scary. At the end of the day, Ornn is a very gold-efficient champ, because every one of Ornn's passives and his upgrades are at least 1,000 to 2,000 gold worth of stats. But you need to get to that point. You need to get to the point where he starts actually, or where the game is not completely over by the time he gets that first update going. As Feb 14, gonna find my MDiv, knock him away, pretend nothing happened. As
actually missed the Vault Breaker, unfortunately, so not able to get the follow-up damage onto that.
Yeah, these guys are doing a really good job at just finding Feb 14. Besides a couple of incidents in the top lane, bot lane hasn't been ganked that much. I guess they do want to look at team play, but while we're talking, Moist one getting in a bit of a tussle, gets stunned up, but potentially, not going to look for anything else. Support's not there. Yusuf and Yuna scrapping again in the top lane.
Yeah. Oh god, look at that damage just from this small amount of trade. That's auto attack speed. That damage immediately. Yusuf chunked has 25% of HP just off of one small trade with Juna in that top lane. And I did want to mention as well, because I don't think we've talked about it too much, just how I think Sleepy Twinks are doing a really good job at trying to negate this Yone in the middle lane. I think every game we've seen from Wibbly on this Yone, he's become a monster and taken over the game to such a high extent that it becomes a really hard thing to deal with in this size. We do see Yusuf struggling to deal with Juno in this top lane again as the ult's going to be popped. The lethal tempo is stacking, and Yusuf, after just TPing back, is already chunked down to 25% HP again.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really hard for Yusuf to play the game. Yuna is slightly ahead, and Jax is a very AD-dependent champ, and now he has the AD to back it up as well. But it looks like we're going to... Mr. Herald is going to fall, unfortunately. Hawkspall's going to claim his eye, as Yuna's looking to retaliate. Gets knocked over the wall. Feb 14. The Leon ult is going to come through. The Destin's going to land as well. The Ornhorn's going to go catch one person. As it's 1-for-1 at the moment. Yuna's looking for damage. Sleepy Twink, can you get out of this pit alive? Yuna's going to get knocked out the pit again. The Killer Instinct's going to get procced by Moist Swan. Time Gear, you're in a lot of danger. Can you get stunned up? He actually gets a lot of help, but doesn't. Unfortunately falls. It's a 3v2. Sleepy Twink, it's on UNL. Can you do some damage? It's a 4v3, but unfortunately... Ace is the sound that is rung, as a Herald got exchanged for 4 deaths, and Drag is coming up as well. Chemtech Drag. Potentially going to be... It's the last drag before Soul gets declared.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first big team fight we've had of the game, realistically, with several team members involved inside of it, and Cursed Tide's going to be the one to take that team fight overall, which is going to be, very big, considering they don't really want to lose the tempo I think they've got in this game going on. They want to get that unit to be able to scale for sure, but once he gets his second item, he's going to get to that point no matter what, and Wiggly is not falling behind on farm or anything, just having a small amount of deaths, with that pressure that he's been experiencing on that mid lane with the ganks coming out from the Alistar and such. But yeah, we saw once again, I just think, the Jax, how much pressure this can create if you've got, Jax is decently far ahead in gold in a team fight, can get a nice little angle on there, get a stun on 2 of them, and you see that lethal tempo stacking up and how much damage it can do immediately as we see Sleepy Twink trying to make it a bit more difficult for Wiggly to secure this farm in this mid lane. Yusuf can't even really hang around in lane versus Juno anymore, as the moment he's in jump range, as you can see, he just has to leave.
Yeah, it's becoming really untenable for Yusuf, but first turret is not down yet. We're still technically in lane phase as Soul is up. A couple of turrets are pretty low. I don't know when the first turret's going to go. It might be the top lane one on red side. But let's see, because we're going to start getting rotates, whereas the mid lane is going to rotate to the side lanes. Bot lane's going to play in the mid, and then... Yeah, it's a very slow game. At this point, normally you have your bot lane road mid lane to start contesting for Shelly or Herald, and also be able to rotate to those drags. But everyone's still stuck in their spots as Hawksball gets caught, rather. Backside drag pits. The ultimate viable is going to be committed here as Gwen is immune. Managed to avoid most of the hook, but unfortunately, too much damage. Feb 14, really good pick on Hawksball. As everyone's mid lane sort of... Yeah, everyone's mid lane. They're going to challenge the mid turret. I was wrong. It's not the top lane turret that goes down. It's going to be the mid lane one, and Sleepy Twink just has to sit there as things sort of crumble in front of them. Top lane is soon to fall, but Yuna's going to look for something underneath Yusuf, disrespecting Yusuf's damage. See if he can get some damage done. He's not actually autoing Yusuf. The turret's not going to aggro on him, but Feb 14, the entire gang is topside. Yusuf, it's not looking good for you as the face heal gets committed. The Ornhorn gets committed as well, but Feb 14, 2 kills in the span of 2 minutes. And a turret for their troubles as well. Really showing up. Really punishing this Gwen pick.
Yeah, for sure. It's been very difficult for this Gwen to get anything going on. The all on the top side, Yusuf is getting annihilated in this top lane. Sure, there wasn't much he could do in that situation, but maybe you just have to respect a bit more at this point. This Jax, he's got so much damage on you, and we've seen several times. Jack gets one jump on, and Ornn falls to 25%, 50% HP from any point. It can be just, it's just incredibly hard for them to be able to survive any kind of pressure, as we do see this Rift Herald going to drop in that mid lane. Not the most effective use of the Rift Herald, only going to chunk that mid lane to 50% HP, but considering, that is the most important tower, you do what you can.
Yeah. It opens up a lot of opportunities, makes the jungle a lot less safe when that falls down. I think Hawksball dropped it because it was about to expire. I don't know when we claimed Rift Herald. I have a name for these type of Rift Heralds where you have to drop it because it's going to expire. It's called Chekhov's Rift Herald. If you've heard of Chekhov's gun, it's Chekhov's Rift Herald.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you have to use it. Like, I mean, there's no choice. It gets some value or zero value, right?
Yeah, exactly. As Whipley is going to take a duel with Yusuf, maybe this is more favorable. Not as much damage from Whipley onto Yusuf. Even with all that mixed damage, a lot of that resistances, it might have just been a Jack's problem, as Yusuf is actually managing to withstand some of the onslaught. As Whipley dancing around. Really good mechanical play from Whibley, actually. Not taking a single ounce of damage directly from Yusuf, while also keeping his wave moderately alive. Chip damage all adds up eventually.
It's just, I'd just like to throw back to what I mentioned earlier in the draft, where I was like, if the side of PlayBack gets a bit too far behind, like in the case of, currently decently far behind us, we do see Whibley laying a crap ton of damage onto Yusuf there, as once again, Yusuf trying to walk up in any kind of side lane and not having a good time, as we tend to be finding, is that Ashe Arrow going to land in the mid lane, Alistar getting the follow-up onto it as well, and ooh, lovely engage coming out from Endip, going to secure a pick for the side of PlayBack, just as I'm mentioning, the teleport coming in from Juna, but not going to be able to get any follow-up onto that, as, yeah, like, oh, Timegate trying to ghost in that mid lane, try and get onto Moist One here as the Ahri ult going to come out as well. Lovely Charm going to land. The Cleanse landing on as well, is going to shut down that Jax as well. Apologies there, but Jax is just, too far pushed up. Getting a bit too ego after getting that TP and not able to get any value, wanting to get something out of it. But once again, MDip has been playing out of his mind this game, getting every single engage that he can.
Yeah, I thought it was a misclick from Timegate to have ghosted and clicked into the Jax and the...
Kind of same, yeah.
and Moist One, but I'm going to chalk it up to really good team play, because they were all very, very ready to run it down as well.
Yeah, Aria on the wall, she was fucking ready to go.
Yeah, everyone was ready to go, and it worked out. Ape together strong is the phrase, as if one person makes a mistake, then it's a mistake, but if everyone does, then it's a strat, so... and it turns out in their favor and potentially rewards them with a drag. They don't really have the setup, and Jax is alive. Just unfortunate tempo on that drag spawn.
Yeah, with the one Drake on both sides as well. And we're now, 22 minutes into the game? So even if this Drake gets taken, you're not going to be seeing Dragon Soul for a long while. So I think they're kind of like, you know what? Let's not throw that another team fight. We got a small advantage just now. Jax is still alive. We don't have that much pressure. Let's just, take what we can, not get any greedy.
Yeah, they're going to have to give up the Mountain Drag. Mountain Drag offers resistances, and I think that's necessary because Hawksball's needlework, the needlework that came out of Gwen, those first two procs, I think did almost 1,000 to 2,000 damage.
Oof.
Just melting through post-null truck.
Yeah,
he's the one who's building resistances as well.
We talked about, like, obviously, if this Gwen can get ahead and she can get towards that late game, she's got her first item now, working towards that second one. That's when she truly can become a big threat into this late game. Usually she can melt these tanks, but it means that she definitely, with the stacked up Q and the ult coming out as well, the needlework, then she can get a lot of damage onto Jax, even without the auto attacks when he's using up that counter strike. Although, yeah, the thing in these team fights, considering you've got Gwen who wants to auto, Ornn who wants to proc Brittles with auto, Alistar even wants to get that stun auto, and obviously Ashe as well is an ADC. So all of these people wanting to auto attack, if you just have Jax jump in with that counter strike, honestly, he's a big problem to deal with.
Yeah, lack of mobility, a huge lack of mobility that will be exposed.
Triforce Ashe, by the way? Is that normal?
Yeah, Triforce Ashe is the way to go.
I haven't played AD Carry in too long.
It's the unfortunate state of AD carries where a lot of AD carries ended up building Triforce. Then we had the Zeri incident in which Zeri exposed how strong Triforce is as an item in squishy terms. And Triforce is a very complicated relationship with AD carries since. Draven picked it up in pro play. Ashe picked it up in pro play. I've seen Caitlyn's run Triforce as well as Yusuf. Gonna take a fight with Whipley in the top lane, but Whipley putting out a lot of damage with 2.5 items. Yeah,
he's got the 2 items now coming out with that Blade of the Ruin King and the Immortal Shield Bow. I love seeing all the different builds that come out from even just like a UNL where you think it'd be a bit more defined, but even so, you still get the big variations onto it, as we do see them going for that Blade of the Ruin King, that Immortal Shield Bow, they're wanting that sustain in the side lane, I think, just so that they can take more aggressive trades and not really have to worry too much about basing and just create that pressure for as long as they can, I think.
Yeah, on the topic of sustain, I was referring to sustained damage. Triforce gives Ash a lot of sustained damage. Is there in a lot of melee as Sleepy Twink falls into melee with the Jax, going to land the Charm, land the Ever Frost. Make it out alive, but unfortunately not going to be alive for Baron if this Baron take starts now. Big Purple Worm. A lot of teams have thrown on this objective as most one's going to clear up some of the vision, potentially free themselves up for a Baron start in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, Moist One losing a bit of a fight with the Baron there, but able to pick up some Honey Fruit to make up that difference.
Yeah, Baron's got hands. It's unfortunate, but...
Yeah, clearly. I think meant to auto the ward and then just auto-attack the Baron and then was like, oh, fuck, I need to get out of here immediately.
Baron realizing that you don't disrespect him in his pit.
No, for sure not. As we do... As we just, the directed camera takes me to follow the Gwen. I do think it's... Oh, the Baron actually getting started up now. Gwen is around, though, to see this. But, as you say, Ari with the TP coming in, so they are going to just walk off of it.
Yeah, Barons have been thrown. Games have been fully thrown from the start. Starting the Baron when 5 people are alive, very, very dangerous. The safest bet is to get into a fight and see what happens. As they went and started the Baron, they're going to lose their mid tower. The curse of Baron throwing games, but the death sense is going to come through, and Wolfman gets knocked up twice. He's going to commit the needlework, and Muslim's going to get the first kill. There's a lot of damage coming through Eunice with the flank. The Fate Seal's going to come through, catch 2. Time to get in a lot of trouble as Yusuf going to try doing damage to MDip, but doesn't do any damage. Stevie Twink going to try and walk away from there. It's 5v3 at the moment. Yusuf not looking good for you as Feb 14 gets 2 kills. Kaiser gets 1. It's now 2v2. They can't really do anything, and the Baron start's going to start. Looks successful. As we were talking about Barons throwing games.
Yeah, that was, I like the idea that came out from the side of PlayBack, where they were like, okay, we've been able to push them off that Baron. They TP'd up. They wanted to get something out of use, considering they knew that Jax was still in that bot lane, just trying to create that pressure. But the moment that they went for that mid tower, the Gwen stepped a little bit too far forward, maybe feeling a bit safe because of the Gwen is immune, but able to get that death sentence, drag her in. Gwen immediately falls, and once Gwen falls, they're just immediately taking the opportunity. Juno getting that nice little flank down with that TP on a ward behind them meant that there was nowhere that they could run, and PlayBack unfortunately just going to fall apart a little bit there as Cursed Tide's looking to just push forward their lead anymore. They had a 5k gold lead before that fight. Now they're looking at something like a 6k gold lead as well. Looking to try and extend that a bit more with the 3rd dragon, putting them on soul points. So the next one is going to be the Mountain Soul if Cursed Tides are able to secure it.
I do wonder how much of that fight was lost because they lost that first Mountain Drag. That 8% armor magic resist. I don't know if it's additive to what you already have. I'm not too sure. But regardless, gave them enough tankiness and durability to survive the onslaught coming from Hawkspaw. Ran out of damage, unfortunately, and lost the Baron, lost the Drag, and all the minions are wearing a shiny coat of purple as we're going to look towards the next 5 minutes of just pure siege.
Wiggly getting a beautiful ult down there is immediately going to be able to close out the kill onto Time Gear as they're now going for more. As February gets that ult on the tower, Ended going to fall as well. As Yone going more and more into that, getting the needlework underneath. Wiggly's going to get chunked extremely low as the Ornult's coming down to try and knock up 3 of them, but no follow-up means that it's just going to be to delay them a bit, as now Yusuf's in a bit of danger here. February wants to create more pressure, pushing under this tower, immediately taking the opportunity they're given and just beginning to see the cracks inside of PlayBack as they're just able to push through and get this mid tower and inhib without much pressure being put onto them. Juno creating this pressure in the side lane as well means that they're going to be able to just convert this pressure into the bot tower and hopefully close out this one as well. As I love the decisiveness coming out from them. A little bit of, you give them an inch and they're taking a mile every single time, I find.
Yeah, really good play from Wibbly. Actually, I think he missed his Q, but it didn't even look like a missed Q because almost immediately that Fate Seal came through and caught 3 people.
Yeah, a repositioning Q, we'll call it,
A repositioning Q. As Wibbly's been... You spoke about it in the pregame, but Wibbly's mechanics on this Yone, something to be feared. And if that's not a highlight reel, I don't know what is.
Yeah, definitely. It's you want when you got Yone on your team, the kind of thing you want Yone to be doing. You want him to have those Yone moments. You want him to be able
Yep.
to dive them from 2 screens away and create that kind of make them feel not safe under even their tower. As Wibbly has the mechanical skill to be able to do that, and he's definitely flexing that as he's not afraid to take those 2v1s or take those disadvantaged situations because he knows the kind of the limits of his character. I feel like the more he plays it, and Yone is becoming a big problem. People banning that Tristana because I mean we saw in the game yesterday how much of a problem that can be as well if he is able to run away from it. But seems that no matter what he picks again as he goes for another ult here landing with the follow-up coming through from Moist One. They're just going to blow up immediately. Not even a contest there as Moist One is going to be able to secure that double kill with the lovely follow-up from the Fate Sealed on the Wibbly. Is, we're talking about singing his praises and immediately he just gets another one set up and lovely 2 kills going into the pocket of Moist One there.
Yeah, and he's sitting on 12 assists. He's only not participated in 8 of the kills that his team have actually gotten, and even then, like, his presence cannot be understated. Sleepy Twink trying to contain Wibbly, but in the reality, I think it was the other way around. Wibbly's trying to contain Sleepy Twink and just sort of scale up safely. It's the last 2.
He only has 1 kill.
He only has a single kill. The difference between the last time we spoke about him and this time is that he finished Bork. That's it.
This is true. This is true. He has 12 assists though, so team player. Ooh,
Yeah,
so
team
we do
player.
see PlayBack maybe looking to try and chase them out the base here, trying to be like, maybe this is the best fight we're going to get, trying to engage before they're able to go back and spend their gold. MDiv going to find Wibbly here with the stun and the knock-up as the Fates and Sealed is going to be sent out there as a lovely ult onto 2 of them again. They're getting the follow-up onto it. Death Sentence landing onto 2 of them. The Gwen trying to get damage off, but immediately going to fall. The Feb ulting onto Time Go over the wall as MDiv is in a bit of trouble here alone. Flash over the wall. The ult follow-up coming out from Kaiser. Time Go is going to land some damage onto Feb as he's falling low into that stopwatch. Immediately going to fall Ari damage as Kaiser is trying to get that follow-up damage. This is 2 for 2 currently. Jack's pushing onto the towers though as a lovely flash. Counter-strike stun going to mean that the Ashe is going to fall as well, trying to get that kill onto Sleepy Twink. Going to stopwatch as well again. Going to secure the end of the game here, I think, with the Nexus immediately falling. And once again, Cursed Ties just with that decisiveness, going to get that kill and immediately end the game off of it.